cumbersome. And in between, it could be IB. Let me just make it nice and easy for you. I just want to quickly do a poll to know those who are in the room, what your experiences are. Are you a frequent user of or a consumer of coaching? Are you, in between because of your organization? Are you, haven't had an opportunity to experience that? And as those come in, I can see from the few that have put in responses, it's kind of a balance. We have some people who are in between, some who are frequent, some who are first timers. So I think that there is a justification to begin from first principles just to help us understand. As you can see, the ends are coming in hard and fast to begin from first principles to lay some foundations about what coaching is. Let me quickly say that I'm pretty honored to be here, of course, on behalf and presenting. And Grace, this is actually one of the first engagements I have with a rebrand. Let me announce a rebrand that's currently going on, or a very slight brand refresh happening for the International Coaching Federation. And we are now running with a slight correction to our brand or our titling. So I am currently serving as the president of the Kenya chapter of the International Coaching Federation. And what that basically means, because we like to call ourselves ICF Kenya, which is a short form of it, but the Kenya chapter means that we are the representation in this part of the world of the International Coaching Federation. The International Coaching Federation are very keen on it being very clear that we are one ICF, that is one International Coaching Federation. And of course, in this, the capacity I hold is the leader or the president for the Kenya chapter of the International Coaching Federation. It's a slight brand change because, of course, what we say is the ICF Kenya chapter, but they are very keen on us saying that we are now the Kenya chapter of the International Coaching Federation. And I'd like to highlight, because I know we have friends, not just in Kenya and from Kenya, that the International Coaching Federation is privileged to have members from across the region. In Africa, we have a very few number. We have about 54 states, but we have about 10% of those with International Coaching Federation representation. And Kenya is proud to be the second oldest chapter and second largest chapter for South Africa. And for Kenya chapter, we have members from Ethiopia, from Zambia, from Zimbabwe, from Rwanda, and I know we have some friends from Rwanda here. And before a recent development, when the Uganda chapter came into inception, we had members from Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, and so it's a very large community. And so as I speak, I bring greetings. In church, we usually say I bring greetings from my community. So I bring greetings from my members, and I know a couple of the members are here. Feel free to give a reaction. And I will be representing that organization that is the gold standard, that is a governing body for coaching as a profession, the organization that is charged with advancing the coaching profession in the world. And of course, coaching is a fairly young profession. So with that said and done, I'm going to quickly just put up my deck to help us understand a bit more about coaching. And then, of course, we can get deeper into how coaching can actually be able to be a driver for organization and for leadership effectiveness. So just a highlight of what I was just talking about, the ICF, the International Coach Federation, is 30 years old now. By the way, the organization is 30 years old. We're celebrating 30 years of the ICF. It's a fairly young profession, and this is globally. In Kenya, we've been around for about a decade or so, and I'm proud to say that we have about 200 members. So I won't read through it word for word, but just say that we are, the pioneers of coaching standards, and we are very keen on supporting people who require to become trained as coaches, and for credentialing of coaches, and development along the journey. Now, just to be clear, if you come across someone who says they're a coach, it's important to check where they got their coach training. And I'm happy to say that Grace is accredited, is a certified coach. At least I can speak for that. And I know the school where she got her coaching is an amazing school. And so it's very important that if someone says they're a coach, just check what program they have done, what school have they gone, for their coach training. And is that school or that institution accredited? That's very important. And of course, beyond accreditation of the schools, ICF is responsible for accreditation of coaching professionals. We have something called credentialing, which is, I wouldn't want to get to the details of it, but that's advancement on your coach development to be among, your peers as one of the best. So of course, there are many coaching organizations in the world, including the Kenya chapter of ICF. Right now, and this number is growing every single day, but we have just about over 60,000 members across 166 countries. And we have that number, 52,000 credential holders in 143 countries. And the chapters are 43 in 99 countries. And of course, like I said, to be an ICF member and to be a coach, you must have coach-specific training that is accredited. And of course, ICF members must adhere. We are all bound as members to the ICF code of ethics. And like I mentioned, there is an ICF Kenya chapter, and with a new brand, we are saying that we are the Kenya chapter of the International Coaching Federation. That's a little bit of who we are. I want to quickly get into what is coaching. So I thought going to one-on-one for the benefit of everybody, what is coaching and what is coaching not. And so very quickly, it's a can I say a discipline, a science, and art where we partner with our clients in a thought-provoking and a creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Now, something very important you need to understand about coaching, that coaching is client-driven, which is usually one of the biggest points of departure between coaching and many other disciplines. Because it's client-driven, it means the agenda belongs to the client. And in a short while, I'll talk about very close disciplines that sometimes associated with coaching, sometimes even confused with coaching. Coaching, one of the differentiators is that is client-driven, and the focus is that is on setting goals, creating outcomes, and managing personal change. Much as, of course, I'm sharing a couple of things on the slide, I would love to get any feedback as we move along. Please shoot a question, put it in the chat, give a response, a comment. It will be great to see how the conversation is going and whether what I'm saying is, resonating, and whether you have a burning thing that needs me to quickly attend to. This is your space. Feel free to use it. So the coach's role is to help, in a nutshell, even without readings, to help you get clarity, get discovery, get to know what you, keyword, the agenda is the clients want to achieve. What's your goal? And how can we help you be able to bring your goal into fruition? Today, and I don't know, it could be possible, they could be on the chat or they could be on this call, and I'd love for them to probably just give a shout out. I had the beautiful, amazing privilege. One of the best parts of the job that I do is meeting fantastic individuals from all over the world. And today I got a courtesy call from a couple of coaches from Amsterdam who are really playing at a very high level of the profession. And one of them is making their way to MCC, which is part of the high coach credential, that's Master Certified Coach. They are currently a professional certified coach. They talked about how manifestation is their focus area. And so shout out to the coaches in just coming to Nairobi for the first time. Coach Priya, it's really exciting to got to learn about manifestation. And what manifestation is, as we spoke about earlier, is bringing into life what has not been. And in a nutshell, coaching is basically that. Coaching helps you bring into life. I'm a Christian, and of course, I believe in God's word. And God's word speaks. There's a scripture that says that faith is the substance of things you hope for, or of that belief of things that don't exist. So coaching very well integrates with my faith because coaching helps you manifest. You have a picture, you have a dream, you have a goal, but you help a client be able to bring to life that which does not yet exist. It helps the client through self-discovery. It helps getting solutions and strategies, and it ensures that the client is responsible and accountable for what they do. One of the things you'll realize even before I go into the distinguishing markers between this and the other close disciplines is that there is no telling in coaching. Coaching is not about telling. Coaching is about asking questions. Coaching is about clarifying. Coaching is about creating awareness. There is no telling. And there are times I know people have gone into coaching engagements hoping that the coach will tell them. And I can quickly mention that is actually mentorship. And I know mentorship is often quite often misconstrued with coaching. Coaches are not meant to tell. Their work is to ask. Their work is to deepen. Their work is to help you get awareness. And like I quickly mentioned, mentoring is one of the close disciplines that is likened with coaching. These are other disciplines that coaching is not. Coaching is not therapy. Coaching is not consulting. Coaching, of course, like I said, is not mentorship. It's not training. It's not like what we know as sports coaching, athletic development. Shout out to Harambee Stars doing us proud in the current CHAN tournament. And it is not role modeling. However, because of the nature of some of these disciplines, like training especially, and even consulting. There are times we find people applying coaching as one of the interventions in a bigger project. So I've been involved in projects where there's training, where there could be some use of psychometrics, there could be feedback, there could be service and other things, and coaching is one of the interventions. But it's very important that you distinguish coaching as separate from all these different disciplines that are related. One of the things I just want to highlight about coaching that makes it different from, for instance, therapy, is that in therapy, of course, it's mostly uh, talking about your present state and reflecting on the past. Coaching is largely about your present state and focusing on the future. That's one of the key markers. So a little bit of what the differences are, but because it is 8 p.m. in the evening, dinner time for some of us, I don't want to get too deep into this. But I want to take a moment, now that at least I've been able to share what coaching is and what coaching is not, to get a feel. I want to get a quick feel. When I go back into the chat, I can see there is a mixed bag. You know, there are people who are in between, the people who are frequent coaching users, people who have not yet had a chance to experience coaching. So I have a quick poll, which I want to share out. So allow me to just put up another little deck. And for this one, I want us to give feedback on what your experience has been in coaching. And this will deepen and give me a bit more clarity about where we all are on our journey. So I have a slide deck here. Let me know if you can see it. And there's also a QR code, which you can scan in if you need to scan it, or you can quickly, let me put this in the link in the chat. There's a link. Let me put this link in the chat, and you could use the link to join this poll. Just pasted the link in the chat. Just a quick one. I just want to get a quick feel of what our experience of coaching is like. So for as many of us who can participate, kindly type in, once you get on the poll, a word to describe your first coaching experience. You know, they say you never forget your first. So what was your first coaching experience for the frequent ones, or for those who are in between? Was it a team coaching experience? Was it a group coaching experience? Was it a, individual coaching? What was it like? You know, let's just hear a little bit from you who are in. I can see a couple of us are getting on. You can use a QR code to just join in. You could use the link. The link is the chat. Give us a word. It's time for us to stretch our vocabulary a bit. Or use a short and sweet word. Give us a word to describe your first experience of coaching, your first coaching experience. I'm looking forward to see. Look at that, an eye opener. It was an eye opener. I love that. The coach in me wants to say, tell me more. The coach in me wants to say, unpack that a little bit more. I want to hear exactly how it was an eye opener, but I'll be content with that. Let's keep them coming. An eye opener. Yeah. What was your first coaching experience? Let's be vulnerable. I think at this point, Zula, should also have asked us to contract and say that everything we say in this session shall stay within this session. Confidentiality, we are, one, GDPR compliant, and we are also bound by the code of ethics. So we will not.
There is somebody who has said on the chat that it was grounding.
It's grounding, and it's also on the, yes, thank you, very grounding. Oh, yes.
I have just seen what has happened. The link you sent was to host and panelists. Florence, here is the whatever, the link.
Oh, so it's been shared now on the bigger group. Oh, okay, thanks. Sorry about that. So now at least more people are getting to join. Yes, now more people are getting to join the poll.
Yeah, nice. Florence says she felt exhausted. Jacinta says it's like you need some to you get to see you have the solutions yourself. It's like you need some to wake up.
This is interesting. And it's interesting, from what I know about this little tool, is that there's bigger the word, the more people are actually subscribing to that. So we have more people on Nervous. Attractive, that's an interesting one. I'd love to unpack further and double click on that. I'm not quite sure what you meant. Kind of a slap on my face. Now that's interesting. Fantastic. Wow, look at that. They keep on coming. They keep on coming in. Look at that. Overwhelming. I'm actually beginning to start to feel a bit overwhelmed as well as the words are coming in hard and fast. But of course, it's not just for me to read them out, it's for us all to get a feel, especially if you've never experienced coaching. I hope this inspires you a little bit to actually want to get an experience of coaching, because these are the kind of emotions, these are the kind of um, this is the kind of effect that perhaps would happen in your life. No experience. Okay, there's someone who had no experience yet. Keyword is yet. Intense. It was intense. It was enlightening. Enlightening and an eye opener are similar. Shockingly true. Look at that. Reflective. And they keep coming and they keep coming and they keep coming. You know, I'm so keen to um, keep this going, but I'm also conscious of time. Now, so I'll pick a couple. I think we have some positive and we have some not so great, and then and some in between. So I'm gonna quickly let me pick on one which is not so great. Scary. Is that scary? Did I say scary or nervous? Nervous, yeah. Um, right.
I like enlightening.
Enlightening is great on the positive. So I think I'll start with the not so great and we work towards enlightening. So now the fact that you are or those anxiety around coaching is actually perfectly normal. In fact, you're not alone. Um, most people actually react or respond with fear, suspicion, and even all sorts of thoughts around what could be the motivation behind being invited or being picked to be part of a coaching program. And remember, this is coaching for effective leadership. And the reason why is because there are people who have not had very great experiences of coaching. We do have cases that have been said that there are people who have either felt or there has been legitimate reason for them to fear coaching because it has been used as a performance management tool, or because it has been actually been used to manage them out of an organization. I can't back up any of these in terms of experiences, but I have gotten feedback from some people that they are generally very wary of coaching. There are also other people who feel coaching is really expensive, you know. And so obviously, as you get into coaching, there are people who feel, what's the real reason we are doing this? And of course, I'm conscious that many people here are HR practitioners, HR professionals. So you are quite possibly the kind of people who will be bringing in coaching into the organization. And so there are people who have all these types of emotions. They think it's expensive, some think it's unnecessary, some think it's it's overwhelming, some think it's too personal. People are getting, or there's this person who wants to get into my personal private space and private world, among other things. The coach was too talkative. That's a whole other discussion to get into. But despite those not very great experiences, and Zula actually pointed out, we have eye-opening, we have enlightening, we have reflective, we have fantastic, we have engaging, introspective, whole, self-discovery, among others. And if you were to take a poll, and feel free if you want to make a screen grab of this or screenshot to keep this for your future reference. In reality, it's not about the good versus the bad. It's a mixed bag. It's a journey that you literally begin and you get on that will not leave you the same. And of course, they love to say about, there's a nice, famous saying that says that you can never cross the same river twice. And that's because you're not the same person and that's not the same river. And so when you get into coaching, you begin to experience yourself, your organization, your colleagues in a way you may have never experienced them. And there exists an opportunity to get to a new level of consciousness, a higher level of consciousness and awareness. And from that, be able to come up with real solutions that would actually transform your organization, transform your career. But the one which I absolutely love, transform your life. That's right. Many lives have been transformed because of knowledge and insights that have actually come through coaching engagement, through a coaching engagement. Now, here's an interesting thing I'd like us to reflect on for a bit. You know, there are people who have reached points, and this is just based on feedback, and I'll go back to my deck, where they felt they were in a rut. There are people who have felt they were stuck. They felt they didn't know, why, or how to go on with their lives. In fact, I just want to quickly highlight a survey we had in 2023 on the impact of coaching. and just share with you the value that many people have actually talked about them being able to get and derive from coaching. So let me just put up that deck again. So very quickly, if and when you're able to get coaching going in your organization, these are some of the benefits you could actually be able to get. So you get individuals getting very empowered and helping becoming highly responsible or encouraged to take responsibility. There's a high level of employee and staff engagement. Individual performance can actually be tracked based on this. There's a higher level of identifying, or rather being able to identify high potential employees. It's possible to get organizational individual strength and opportunities for development, personal development plans and team development plans. And of course, you can motivate and empower individuals to excel. And of course, demonstrate organizational commitment to human resource development. And so this would be a great moment for me to say that, and I've said this on many platforms, and I'll say it again. Ideally, every human resource professional should be a coach. In fact, I keep saying that the human resource professionals should be the converted, the choir. I want you guys to be all coaches, and then I can now move on to the accountants and to the operations guys and to the engineers. So I've said this and I continue to say this every opportunity I get. HR practitioners need to be certified coaches. We can almost say that after your CHRP, please consider coaching as one of the trainings that you need to take up, because all these things that you're required to take care of, engagement of staff, performance management, high performing, succession planning, pipeline, etc., can actually be sorted out through coaching, through you yourself becoming a coach and through building a coaching culture. Just a snapshot of the typical reasons why people choose to get coaching. People choose to become coaches because of work performance. And here's an interesting one. There's almost an equal number of people who would rather take on coaching as a private engagement because they don't want people knowing their business, which is perfectly fine. There are times you want to work on your performance and you don't want it to be, talk of, the corridors. So that's perfectly fine. I have people who, especially at very senior level, prefer to take on coaching as a private engagement. There are people who, of course, the organization has made the investment and they get the benefit of improved individual performance and team performance. These are the reasons, according to the 2020 Global Coaching Study. There are people who do it to improve their communication. The people who do it to increase productivity. The people who do it to expand career opportunities, increase self-esteem, self-confidence. Managing work-life balance is a big one. And burnout is actually becoming a major concern right now. And of course, improving in business management. Those are just a few of the typical reasons why it would be important to actually take on coaching. Now, as I talk about all these things, it's important for you to appreciate that these are individual benefits, but they can also be taken up by a team and of course the overall organization. When I say that I'm very keen for HR practitioners to become coaches, is because all these wonderful things that are happening are naturally the HR way of being. But I'm trying to imagine how much better it would be if a finance person actually was keen on team performance, keen on communication, keen on helping people manage work-life balance, or a CEO for that matter. And that's why I say that we need as many executives to actually be able to take on not just getting coaching themselves, but also becoming coaches, because that would actually shift how they do leadership, how they manage talent, and of course, how the organization culture generally is. This is just a quick snapshot before we go into the next quick discussion I want us to have. There's actually evidence based on some of the studies we have that there's a significant positive effect on performance, skills, and well-being and coping, work attitudes, and goal-directed self-regulation. That's a study that was done in 2014 by the Boom and Van Veen. There's also that 1:15 impact ratio that a manager coaches 3 staff with 4 direct reports, according to CIPD. And of course, it says that 59%, which is close to 6 out of 10 participants in a 6-month coaching program, attributed majority of all progress to coaching relationship. In other words, and that's according to the Center for Creative Leadership, up to 6 out of 10 people could actually see progress in their organization, in their team, tied to their coaching relationship. Then, of course, the one which I particularly love is that this particularly effective. It's an effective and very useful tool at building psychological capital. That is, of course, hope, self-efficacy, resilience, and optimism. That's according to Russo, Fontes and Russo. And something interesting I just want to highlight on this one on building psychological capital. There could not be a time in our lives where we need more resilience than now. In fact, we talk about the intergenerational work environment. One of the biggest criticisms, people often complain about our wonderful Gen Z in the workforce. And one of the biggest complaints around that particular wonderful generation is, can we call it the lack of or a very different type of resilience? And so building that mental strength, coaching helps you build your psychological capital. I remember I was in a session last week with one of my former colleagues, and he's now a leader at Strathmore Jotham, and talked about how a good education helps you have the ability to cope with life's realities. And if there's anything that's happening in this current, present, post-COVID, um, macroeconomic reality is that we have a lot of difficulty, a lot of issues with resources, a lot of challenges to overcome. And therefore, coaching, just like a good education, helps your teams be able to have psychological capital, resilience, and the ability to bounce back when life happens. And keyword is when life happens, not if life happens. So very quickly, back to our conversation. I know time is not on our side. I want to quickly hear from us, and what's the effectiveness like on our poll for those who have experienced coaching in your organization. And this applies to the in-between people and applies to the those who have done coaching frequently, the frequent flyers. What's the effectiveness like of coaching in your organization? I put up a poll. I'd love to hear from you. We won't take as much time on this one. And this would actually get us to the crux of the matter, which is, of course, the impact and the value of coaching in leadership. So please let your thoughts be heard. Kura yako ni sauti yako. What is the effectiveness of coaching in your organization? Is it strongly or highly effective? Do you strongly agree it's effective? Is it not effective? We disagree. And for those who will disagree, I would suggest that you, if you can't give us, it's called what? Further explain your answer. If you can give a point or two to be useful, you can put them in the chat. And the fact that coaching is not very effective is also something we are very comfortable to come to terms with as coaches and those responsible for coaching programs, because there are very many reasons why coaching programs may not succeed. There are very many reasons, and it's a hard reality. Many organizations, when coaching came in, sent many of their senior managers in droves for coaching certification programs. And if you go to many of our large organizations, we have very many coaches or many managers who are coaches. Are they coaching day to day? Mambo kwa ground? Not quite. And there are many reasons around that. So this is very, very useful for us to look and see exactly how effective. And right now I'm looking at a bell curve, a normal distribution curve, which is interesting to see. It's a mixed bag. We have people who feel coaching is effective, I would say highly effective. There's an equal number of people who feel it's highly effective, an equal number of people who feel it's not effective, and a majority. I'd love to, because I've been speaking and I think I'm getting just a little bit tired of hearing my voice alone. Zula, let me bring you into this conversation just for a bit, and I'm conscious all the time is really running. What has been your experience? Because I know in the Get It Right Dream Team, you constantly and often get queries and concerns about certain leaders who probably need a bit of support, who may have done or not done something. And I don't know if you've ever had the rude shock, quote unquote, of realizing that the leader who you got some feedback about is actually a coach or is trained as a coach. Has that ever happened to you? Just no pointing fingers or naming names. What has been your experience like around this whole conversation around effectiveness of coaching or lack thereof?
Yeah, I have had a situation with, actually I've had a coach come for coaching who was given feedback by the staff members about how they were leading. And during the conversation, you could tell that he forgot the tenets of coaching and how to use it effectively. So yes, and I believe that if you want to become an effective coach, one of the things that you need to do is practice. because sometimes, yes, and especially if you're in leadership, your work is to give solutions. So the temptation to not wait for people to give solutions is very high. And therefore, the more you practice coaching, the more you become accustomed to the principles of coaching. And therefore, it becomes very easy to utilize the skill effectively.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. And so maybe now that your mic is unmuted, you could let me know how much time we actually have before my mic is switched off. I'll let you know.
The switching off, what I need you to do is probably have a conversation for a few minutes, then we can take questions. I can see
Excellent.
a couple, so we also need to address them.
Not a problem. Maybe I could just quickly glance at the chat. It's not visible on my. Oh, they're actually here. Let me quickly glance at them before I continue to see whether any of them are actually feeding into this directly.
There's one of Sin, which is saying,
Mm-hmm.
no, not from Paul, from Julius.
Yeah.
What are the dynamics of coaching to a rigid organizational structure? This one wants to know the differences between training, consultancy, therapy, counseling mindset is difficult. That's a comment. Coaching is very effective when used as part of the organization culture of engaging teams. There's somebody who, Pegingaira, my good friend, is asking where they can train. That was on the Q&A. It's not easy to add coaching to an already loaded JD. It is. Coaching is not. It's actually easier than you think. It's not a job per se. It is a skill that you use in leadership.
It's a way of
So to
being.
speak.
It's a way of being, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
it's a legitimate concern, and that's actually. Let me start with that comment from Paul. And the reality of the matter is there are many reasons why I would not coach. Let me be the advocate of the non-coaching manager, especially if number one, it's not on my JD. Number two, I don't get paid any extra money for it, right? Number three, my job takes enough time. I don't have enough bandwidth to spare once I'm done delivering on my deliverables and managing my team. So in reality, there are people who might not feel motivated enough or inspired enough. However, as Zula said, in reality, it's not about it's a JD issue, it's a way of being. And actually, as this conversation progresses, I'm just realizing we are literally at the tip of the iceberg. And there are so many more conversations we would probably need to have to unpack. How in reality do you make people actually, or support people, inspire people to be able to effectively lead through coaching? And I'll quickly mention one as I quickly again look at the questions. Let's see. I feel like there's one answer to all this, and let me just quickly glance and confirm that. Where do you draw the line between coach and the person being coached? I think that's a confidentiality issue or something along the lines of ethics. That question may need a bit of clarification. Rose, if you're able to clarify, that would be useful. Thank you. Managers, they're not prepared. Managers are not prepared. That's in any thought I want to share. And then, of course, difference between coaching and L&D. Of course, we have our senior coach. It's so good to see you on, Coach Madangari Muya. Yes, I think your comment was actually tied to another, but yes, dynamics of coaching to regional organizational structure. Okay, let me quickly answer.
George,
Yes, yes.
this is an interesting question from Damaris. How can one help a team member embrace coaching when they see coaching as a micromanagement? I think that is not coaching. Yeah.
Coaching 101 again. We go back to coaching 101. What is
Yeah.
coaching? The
Yes.
funny thing, I've been in this ICF space and in coaching now, it's going to a decade soon. And every other year when we have international coaching week and the month activities, sometimes we wonder, do we need to still go to one-on-one? And the reality, the question is yes, we do need, and I'm glad we asking the question of who has never experienced coaching, who has frequent experience of coaching in between, simply because the messaging around what coaching is and what coaching is not. From a consultant standpoint, as a coach, you must continuously share with your clients and people who are consumers of coaching, including your coaching clients. And there's corporate clients like the buying organization, and then there's the coaching client, the participant, and everybody in between. People must continuously be helped to understand what coaching is, and what coaching is not. Many of the problems you're seeing here that are on the chart are actually related, and the graph you're looking at here, to an unclear understanding of what coaching is. And so if you don't have a clear understanding of what coaching is, then of course we'll have issues around ethics, issues around confidentiality being broken, issues around people wanting to be told versus the agenda being theirs, etc. Now, very quickly, because of time, and I think I want to share something that would open us up, of course, to further conversation and more meaningful intervention in your unique context, which we can go into when we have a further time to engage. Number one, the one program that I would want to suggest for everybody to take up, especially if you want to make coaching succeed in your organization, is a leader as a coach program. There isn't a more effective introduction to coaching course I can think of than leader as a coach. Obviously, as a coach, I would want, and I say this often, become a coach. The reality of the matter, becoming a coach it's a $5,000, 6 month or more engagement. And some people who probably invest in it then start wondering, should I have been a coach, or was it really for me? So why a leader as a coach program would be such an exciting and a great, can I say, introduction program is simply because it gives you an opportunity to actually understand what is coaching. But more importantly, on a 3-day program, you get to appreciate how can I apply coaching effectively and sustainably in the work I do day to day. Now, it gets better. One of my partners, Coach Mel, and I've shared this with a couple of us here, and I still want to repeat this, have come up with a fantastic next level development to leader as a coach, which is matching coaching with AI. Imagine if you could actually have coaching, which is an amazing intervention, but for some people, a little bit scary and technical. And for many people, it's scary to get coached as a client. It's even more scary to be expected to coach as a leader. So thank God AI is actually available, and leader as a coach has gone to the next level thanks to one of my partners, Mel, and we have come up with an amazing tool that's called Thrive, which gives managers what I'd call a cheat sheet using AI. If you could have a chat GPT, quote unquote, for coaching. And I'll just say it in one sentence. Managers can now be able to have a pocket assistant or a quick assistant which they can use to input information about difficult leadership issues, but not just generally leadership issues, but you could have a profile. For instance, let me use my fantastic Atara team here. If we had Zula as a senior manager in my team, we had Richard as a board member, we had Catherine, as a HOD, and myself, we are a team of 4 people. And I am the manager who needs to coach. I can actually come up with a profile. Whenever I have sessions with Zula, I could actually log in. And if you all know how the AI interfaces work, you can actually have history of your search history. So imagine if I had a profile for Zula, a profile for Richard, a profile for Catherine, and any other team member. And whenever we have a kind of like a one-on-one session or even a catch-up session, I can brush up on what we've discussed last month or the last 2 weeks and key focus areas that she, for instance, if Zula or Catherine had committed to work on, or he, in Richard's case, had chosen to work on, or even questions or challenges they had come up with. And so, in a nutshell, because of time, leader as a coach would be your first point of call. Get your managers into a leader as a coach program. But then it gets to the next level. Beyond leader as a coach, we have programs right now in the market that are actually bundling leader as a coach training, where you get the knowledge and the awareness on how to become a coach or to how to use coaching as a leadership style, bundling it now with artificial intelligence. And of course, really, we've always said that right now the greatest thing to fear is not the misuse of AI, but the misuse. So don't miss out on the use of AI to actually get your coaching to the next level or your leadership to the next level. So that's just the thing I think I could plug in with in the interest of time. And of course, I know because there are many mechanisms for feedback and questions. I think Zula, perhaps you could get more insights on this, and perhaps we could have a follow-up to this conversation, or even more, can I say, tailored responses to some of the questions that are coming. I can see they keep coming in. We have questions from Carol, questions from Adila, Fatuma, I see you, your personal need to, to get coaching to support your career. Of course, Coach Madhugani, you've said that there's not yet enough preparation, and awareness even. So there's so much that we need to do. And perhaps what we need to do is actually, thanks to this amazing platform, Nzula, we could probably curate and see how can we take this further. The 40, 50 minutes or so are not enough to go deep into each of these, but we can have quite a few follow-on questions around the coaching and how this could actually become a game changer. But let me say, and I feel like I should be making my closing remarks. Can I make my closing remarks now, Nzula? What I'd like to say at this
Sorry,
point is,
I didn't know I was on mute. Yes.
right, just because of time, what I'd like to say at this point is, the question of whether coaching is a useful and impactful intervention for me is it's not so much about whether coaching is or is not. For me, I'd say it's life-changing. I have been able to live out and experience the outcomes. The question actually should be, and most people actually know and have experienced it, in as we saw in the slide that we saw share about what the experience of coaching has been. The question is how. I think the greatest challenge I have and my team at ICF constantly are trying to think through is how can we make this amazing, I want to put back the adjectives that came up with the word cloud, this amazing, eye-opening, life-changing, reflective, engaging, transformative, discipline become a reality. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, which I should not be saying as a consultant. When you build coaching capacity in your organization, you're actually saving money because your managers can actually do the work embedded in the work they do of coaching, and you don't have to hire coaches as much. I'm not saying don't hire coaches by all means, but in reality, coaching, training, capacity development is, for the long term and for sustainability, is far much better delivered internally. And so my call to action is kindly, for you as a HR professional, we've said I'm not going to remind us to be coaches because we've already agreed we're on board. But then, of course, let's do whatever we can to empower the leaders that we have in our organization to get the coaching competency, coaching awareness, so that we can be able to drive real change that is lasting and sustainable. Asanteni sana. Back to you, Grace.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was quite interesting. And I think we really need to continue this conversation on demystifying coaching, because I think the coaching, the word coaching, a lot of people use it interchangeably quite a lot. I've seen people say coaching and mentorship should be hand in hand, but I've also seen that coaches sometimes forget to say, now I'm wearing my mentor cap and I want to tell you this, and then going back to coaching, then there's this and this. But I think one of the things that I have really enjoyed in coaching is even the change it makes for yourself, and just becoming a better listener. I think that is one of the skills that is very important, especially in our profession as HR professionals. Yes, and I agree with what Florence has said. Coaching skills is not only good to have, but a must-have. It is very key, and especially because we are in leadership and we are also dealing with people. I keep saying HR is the one profession where you are a leader by default. You like it or not, you are expected to provide leadership, and leadership is a doing word. So you need to keep polishing your skills, and you need to keep getting better at what you do. And now that we have handled the questions, Peggy, I think we can get Nani on the website. There's the colleges, the accredited institutions, right? I think I saw some. George.
Oh, you mean like
where can we get a list of the accredited institutions for coaching?
Well, yes, they are listed, though it's actually a bit of a process to be able to get them, especially as a non-coach, but that's an opportunity. And actually, all the institutions are very keen to, share their solutions and offerings. Perhaps a follow-on conversation would probably be having some of them who I know, and of course, your alumni are one of them, come on to actually talk about what it is that they offer. They're all very different. I'll just share that at the moment we have about 6 distinguished schools that are delivering exceptional coach training. including Strathmore Business School and the different other schools. So it's possible to, I think, have some conversation that would be very meaningful with them. So Grace, I think that's something we could explore because we have some partnerships with them and they're very keen to connect with people in this HR space and empower them to become effective in coaching. So that could also be another follow on. There's quite a bit to talk about around coaching in the coming days. So I look forward to being part of that process.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, George, for your time. And thank you so much for demystifying coaching and also just taking us through how we can utilize the coaching skills. And I hope that people on this call can take advantage and either become coaches or seek coaching services. It's really, really important. It's one of those things that you really, really need to have. And yes, coaching for supervisors and managers, it is key, especially when you do internal promotions. You cannot run away from coaching. You really, really need to embrace a coaching mentality. So thank you so much, you guys, for your time. Thank you for being here. Please don't forget to join us on the 4th of September when we will be having a conversation on work injury benefits. And Mombasa, we have good news. We are coming down by the end of September for our annual coffee or rather tea party. So the Pwani tea, like what we did last year, we are coming down in September, at the end of September, and we will be there to have fun, to have a conversation, and to network as always. And hey, last year we got some very, very amazing food from a Hotel Sapphire. We will be sharing details on that. Our recording is on our YouTube channel. The link has been shared. If you can kindly subscribe, if you can kindly go back and catch up with us and maybe get to hear what we are saying. And Simon Frank from Tanzania, I will be in Arusha. I know you are far from Arusha, but we have a training in Arusha from the 26th of August at Mount Meru. I hope that one of these fine days we get to meet you physically. But thank you so much, guys, for being here. Please like our Facebook page, Atara Solutions. Follow us on Instagram, Atara Solutions. Oh, God, Richard, I forgot. You have anything for George?
Yes, I have. I can see we have a few minutes. Probably, George, thank you very much for that very delightful presentation. Probably you could mention one model that somebody can pick and use it to probably become more effective in their coaching. You can pick one model, especially you can pick Grow, I think is the most famous one.
Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that, but thank you, Richard. Yes, it's absolutely true. Grow is actually one of the most well-known models in coaching. And of course, GROW is an acronym which stands for, the goal that you want to do. Of course, the agenda is the coach's agenda. The reality, what's the, like remember we said earlier on, one of the greatest strengths is being able to come to terms with your reality and your circumstances, acceptance. Today I was listening to a podcast by Joko Willink about acceptance, the power of acceptance. If you don't accept some realities, it becomes very difficult to progress. So reality is something that you really need to get clarity and acceptance around. And then of course, what options exist, and most importantly, do you have the will? Do you have the will to be able to push along? So that's one of the well-known models. For me, let me just say I work with Coactive. I am a Coactive coach, and Coactive is, I just love what Coactive offers in terms of being present in the moment, with your client. And I merge my Coactive coaching with solutions focused. It's very important what I put sort of address as Oscar to be able to work around where are we at the present moment and how do we advance, how do we progress from the current place we are in, and taking a moment to celebrate what you already have and using that to leverage and push you along to the next level you need to be. So I think you have at least three for one. And thank you, Richard, for asking that question. It's a very good take home for everybody. And a teaser for you to join and become a coach. For me, HR professionals, you need to become coaches. Then we can now go convert, like I said, the finance guys, the engineers, who else, the accountants, CEOs, etc. So you are the choir, you are the converted. Asante sana.
Richard, you're done?
Yes, I'm done. Thank you very much, George. Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you very much, Catherine. Thank you very much, the audience.
All right. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining us. Please follow us on Instagram at Atara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Atara Solutions, follow or rather subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and you will find all our recordings uploaded there. And there's quite a lot that you can really learn from that YouTube channel. We've had the who is who of this nation or this continent hosted here. And we're grateful for you for keeping the time to be here. Of course, I appreciate you, Richard, Catherine Sidandi, and the entire team at Atara Solutions. You guys are just the best. Thank you so much for the support. And thank you for believing in this vision and being here. And of course, George, I hope you can continue creating more coaches. We need coaches in the world and we need to continue creating them. And so you guys, see you next week. We have an interesting conversation. Very, very interesting, actually. I'm also curious. As we were discussing with the speaker, I was so curious. I am curious to see what he's going to be talking about, and something that has been written in a history book that applies to our organizations now, which is a very, very interesting concept that we are all going to be Googling once you see the flyer. So see you next week, Tuesday, same place, same time, as we unpack yet another conversation, as we demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We are here from 8 o'clock, so please join us. Bring yourself and your other people, and let's keep learning. Let's keep getting informed, and let's keep making a difference. Have yourselves a lovely, lovely night. Oh, yes. And Mwenda Ntumbiri is actually launching a book. I have seen you, Mwenda, on 29th of August. He has written a book called Meet Yourself, which I think is also part of coaching. So, yes. See you then. Good night.
Still I smile, still I ache. Every drop